Good afternoon. I want to go right into some serious discussion, maybe to help us through these trying times. When we hold resentment towards someone or when we hold resentment towards others, it constricts our consciousness. When we hold on to anxiety, when we avoid confronting our fears, we contribute to the collective pain of humanity. By cultivating attitudes of friendliness towards the happy, compassion for the unhappy, delight in the virtuous, and disregard towards the wicked, the mind stuff retains its undisturbed calmness. I'm going to go right into the meditation. And I want you to sit back and close your eyes. And I want you to take a moment and imagine you are walking in the mountains. The day is warm and the air is fresh with the scent of pine and pennyroyal. You come upon a steep incline and begin to hike upwards, navigating around rocks and brush until you reach the top. A slight breeze blows past your flushed cheeks, making you aware of the perspiration that has accumulated on your forehead. You stop for a moment to grab the water bottle hanging on the side of your small backpack. The water feels good as it glides down your dry throat. Placing the cap back on the bottle, you secure it to your pack and continue down the other side of the hill. You can see an open meadow below with a small stream flowing through it. You imagine that thousands of years ago, this meadow was once a lake, and the stream is all that's left. Your path is slightly steep, and you take care not to lose your footing and slip as you hike down towards the green meadow, dotted with spring flowers. Suddenly, you hear a loud crashing noise behind you. It's the sound of branches breaking and something heavy moving quickly through the trees. You stop and turn around and see an enormous reddish-brown bear cresting the top of the hill you were just on. Within seconds, your heart is racing, your breathing becomes rapid, and the hairs all over your body stand on end. Do you stand and fight? Do you scream? Do you run? Your amygdala is in high gear. Adrenaline and cortisol is flooding through your body. Blood is leaving your torso to transport life-saving oxygen to your leg muscles. Run, your brain is saying. Your body is shifting systems from digestion to getting out of there now. You are not thinking with your frontal cortex. You're not analyzing whether the bear is 50 yards away from you or closer, or how fast is the bear running towards you. No, your amygdala shuts that part of the brain off. It's your fight or flight response so you don't get eaten. I call it the reptilian part of our brain. Our ancestors relied on it. Otherwise, they would have been eaten. Fortunately for you, the bear stops halfway down the hill and turns away. The last thing you see is its huge backside. lumbering off to your right, disappearing into the tall pine and fir trees. You take off running as quickly as you can in the opposite direction. You are flooded with unconscious energy until you feel you're out of harm's way. Still shaking from this close encounter, you continue on your day hike. You keep it to a steady pace until you reach the safety of your vehicle parked at the state park's ranger station. You throw off your backpack and jump into the driver's seat, closing and locking the door in case the bear changed its mind and decided to follow you. You feel tired as you start your car. You put it in gear and you drive home. On the ride home, you play the bear encounter over and over again. Each time, your stomach feels that explosion of butterflies and queasiness. You are firing up that fight or flight response with your mind every time you allow your thought patterns to turn like a broken record. As soon as you arrive home, you tell the first person you see about the bear. This rendition of the encounter may be a little more exaggerated, and the resulting feeling you get as you relive the hike causes the stress hormones to fire up once again. The next day at work, someone asks about your weekend. You begin to hold court as 3 co-workers hear about your bear encounter. You now have attention, which the ego loves, and a reoccurrence of, well, you guessed it, adrenaline and cortisol. So now not only do you replay your hike over and over again, you have managed to capture an audience, which makes your ego feel superior to everyone else. Now, recounting your experience becomes a habit that is feeding your needy ego. Let's investigate what is going on here with the hiker and the bear story. The underlying emotion that governs our egos is fear. It is fear of being nobody, fear of non-existence, fear of being seen as unimportant. When we constantly talk about our experiences, our wants, our needs, we unconsciously are feeding our ego's need to feel important. The hiker's experience of the bear is no longer occurring, but the hiker's need to keep it going, to feel the thrill of being listened to, gives him a momentary sense of satisfaction. That is why so many people live in the past, drudging up old thoughts that fire up emotions of hate, anxiety, anger, or love. It's all about the ego's need to feel satisfied, the ego's need to feel important, or listened to. Here's another example. Have you ever felt the need to tell someone about an event that you heard about, but they haven't? Perhaps some juicy gossip that's going around. Here's how it goes. Guess what I just heard about Joe? You mean you haven't heard yet? You don't know? Well, let me tell you. If you are an aware enough individual, present enough, you may be able to detect a momentary sense of satisfaction within yourself just before telling the news, even if it is bad news. Why? Well, according to Eckhart Tolle, quote, "It is due to the fact that for a brief moment there is, in the eyes of the ego, your ego, an imbalance in your favor between you and the other person. For that brief moment, you know more than the other. The satisfaction you feel is of the ego, and it is derived from feeling a stronger sense of self relative to the other person." The other person could be a famous individual, but you feel superior in that moment because you know more. This is why so many people become addicted to gossip. Gossiping has an element of malicious criticism to others. And so it also strengthens the ego through the implied but imagined moral superiority that is there whenever you apply negative judgment to anyone. In this time of stress, we must be conscious of our thoughts. We must be impeccable with our word. We must think before we speak. We must understand where these thoughts and thought forms are coming from, what drives us. So begin by trying to analyze your thoughts as you breathe. Pay attention to your breath and pay attention to the different thought forms that emerge. Study yourself. Become your own subject. Don't be an object. Learn why you think the way you do. For aspirants who want to climb the mountain of spiritual awareness, the path is selfless work. For those who have ascended to yoga, the path is stillness and peace. When a person has freed himself from attachments to the results of work and from desires for the enjoyment of sense objects, he ascends to the unitive state. That is Sri Krishna in chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. So as you sit and explore your mind and your thought forms, your fears, your deepest anxieties, take a moment. Think about a person in your life. Maybe it was someone in your past. Think about that person for a moment. That person was special, that you love them. Maybe it was a parent, a relative, a friend, a teacher, a mentor, someone that in your heart you hold in great esteem. You have great compassion and love for. Feel how that love swells in your heart, in your soul. It's a wonderful feeling, love and compassion. And as you sit, you realize you can bring that love and compassion to the surface just by thinking about this individual and how you hold them dear and near to your heart. Take a couple moments. And now, I want you to think about a person that you don't hold near and dear to your heart, someone you don't like, someone who maybe you felt contributed to an injustice, someone that you have anger towards, someone that you do not like. What happened to that wonderful feeling you had in your heart just a moment ago? It got constricted, didn't it? Because hate that we hold on to, anger that we hold on to, constricts us. And when we do that, we contribute to the collective hate of humanity. Now, I want you to imagine now that that person that you have anger toward, that you do not like, think about them for a moment as a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old baby or toddler. Do you still have that hate towards them? You see, just as easy as we can hate, we can love. It's just a switch. We can turn it on or off. But the feeling that it does to you, without you knowing it, spreads to others. The hate and the constriction that you hold in your heart, that tightness can contribute to other people hate and constriction. But if you can let go of that anger and that hate, and you can look at someone through different eyes. Everyone at one time was a child, a baby. Everyone was someone's child that they loved. Maybe look at them in a different light and try to open that heart center of yours. Open it up. And then let go. Let it go. Be the light and see the light in others so that you can keep the light spreading. We see what COVID-19 does. We see how it spreads so rapidly. Imagine if we could spread love and compassion at the rate of a virus. Maybe the virus is there for us to learn from. We can spread hate. It's your choice to spread hate. Or, just as easily, it is your choice to spread love. The choice is yours. What kind of world do you want to live in? A world of hate, injustice, inhumanity? Or do you want one of peace? Do you want something to hold on to, such as love? To get up in the morning and know that the world is at peace and that we are all one. We're all joined together as human beings. So go forth and do something constructive. Find someone that you did not get along with, that maybe caused you great pain, and see if you can reach out to that person in some way. Maybe it's just a thought in your head of love and compassion, and spread the light to that person and wish them a good life, wish them happiness. Or perhaps take it further and actually call that person and forgive them. It's not easy. If it was, oh, the world would be in a great place, wouldn't it? No, we have to work at it. And once we all start working on it together, we can live in a better world. We can make this a better world. I know we can.